So let's go ahead and get started. Before we do anything with tires, we want to make sure we put our wheel chocks in front and behind the rear tires. So we're just going to slide these into place. Now let's go to the front, and David's going to jack up the coach so we can start the process. Trust me, like all our technicians at National Indoor RV Centers, David makes this look super easy. But please make sure you refer to the chassis manufacturer's instruction manual to locate the proper jacking points on the coach. At National Indoor RV Centers, we always secure with jack stands just in case the jacks fail. So now that we have the coach jacked up, this is the time where we're going to remove the lug nut covers or any kind of cover that is covering those lug nuts. Right, David?
Yeah. So you're dressed for this. You mind going ahead and removing this?
Absolutely. Some of these will come off fairly easy. If not, you've got a tool here to take them off. All right, so now we're ready to take off the lug nuts, and just based on this, I'm going to let David do the heavy lifting here. David? After removing the tire, we want to lay the tire and rim face up on the ground. David is removing the valve core to deflate the tire. Once the tire is deflated, we are ready to break the bead on the tire. With both beads broken, David is lubricating the inner tire and rim to facilitate in the removal of the tire. Using the demount tire tool, or the golden tool as David refers to it, he is removing the tire from the rim. Before we get started installing Rettroband, I want to go over a few key components that come with your Rettroband kit. First of all, each wheel is going to have 2 gearboxes and 4 pins. So the gearbox, you can see you have this long side. That is what's going to go towards the rim. And then you're going to have a right threaded pin and left threaded pin for each gearbox. David is going to assemble the first Rettroband set. At National Indoor RV Centers, we recommend lightly coating the threads of each gearbox with anti-seize, as David is doing here. David is inserting the left threaded pin into the Rettroband. You want to just barely turn the thread into the first pin before inserting the right threaded pin into the other half of the Rettroband. David is rotating the gearbox to ensure both sides thread evenly. With only one half assembled with a single gearbox, we are going to insert both halves comprising the Rettroband into the tire. Once inside the tire, proceed with installing the second gearbox. Again, we are applying anti-seize to both sides of the threads and repeating the same process on the second gearbox. Here, David is lubricating the inner and outer bead of the tire, the inside of the Rettroband and the inside of the rim. This will aid in seating the Rettroband to the rim. Now for the fun part. We are ready to mount the Rettroband and tire onto the rim. Pry the tire away from the rim in order to access the gearbox. Use the appropriate ratchet with an extension to tighten the gearbox. You want to make sure the Rettroband's 2 halves close fully. Now repeat the process on the other side by prying the tire away from the rim to access the gearbox, and proceed to tighten it until both halves are fully closed. Now put the inner tire over the rim and reinstall the valve core and air up your tire. Place the tire on the wheel balancer and spin balance the tire. Add or remove weights as necessary to balance the tire. I am always amazed whenever I'm in the shop and I get to watch our technicians. They aren't just really good, they are very proficient, efficient, and they make the most difficult of jobs look like a breeze. They are true professionals and the heart and soul of National Indoor RV Centers. Whenever putting the wheel and tire back on a coach, our technicians always put the lug nuts back on in a star pattern, as you are seeing David do here. Now you want to make sure the Rettroband sticker is applied to each rim to let any tire professional know that Rettroband is inside the tire. Make sure you also place the Rettroband sticker by the front door. This concludes the installation of Rettroband. In the event of a flat or if you're replacing your front tires, the removal is very easy. Once the tire is deflated, place 2 tire irons between the tire and the rim and pry off the inner bead. Pry one side back to access the Rettroband gearbox, and you will need to release the ratchet. Loosen the nut on the gearbox and repeat the same processes on the second gearbox. On the second gearbox, loosen it completely and remove it from the pins. So I want to thank David for being out here today, sweating with me in this heat. Actually, he did all the heavy lifting and most of the sweating. But I hope this answers your questions that you've had about Rettroband, shows you how easy it is to install and how easy it is to change a tire with Rettroband on. If you'd like more information, if you don't already have Rettroband, want more information, you can go to the website, www.rettroband.com. That's with 2 T's. You can go to National Indoor RV Center's website. I've got YouTube videos out there that give a lot of information. And if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you hit your like and subscribe so that you don't miss any of our upcoming videos.